Panty the Geeks. Today we're going on a little bit of a journey through my crazy mind, and the reason we're not staring at any boxes or anything in front of us at the moment is because I want to explain what's going on. Now I don't even know what I'm entitling this video, but Infinity will probably be in there, so if you click on this it's probably to see Infinity stuff, and it's coming along, don't worry. But I wanted to just go over why I'm doing Infinity. Literally years ago, I think even on the channel, I got Operation Ice Storm and Claire got Operation Red Veil, and we played Infinity a few times, played the tutorials in the books, and then it got shelved. I painted the models for it, which I'll show you in a minute, and then it basically got put in the box, and lots of other games came along and it got pushed back and back and back. But recently I also saw an advert for Infinity, and I was thinking, well, I went back to Moonstone and I didn't have as many models of that, and I didn't have as good an experience with Moonstone. And then when I went back to it, I loved it. So I thought, why don't I try the same with Infinity? I already have some models. So I'm going to start by showing you the models from Operation Ice Storm that were actually painted. So they were stored for a long time in one of these foam Games Workshop cases, one of the old ones. It's befitting the age of these as well. And they've held up pretty well, apart from a few of the casualties, like the arms off one of the Nomads, which I haven't stuck back on yet. And most of them are painted, apart from this one, for some reason. I can't remember why, but most of them are painted, and they're not bad. I don't really feel the need to repaint these. I think they've turned out pretty well from whenever I painted them, and I've completely forgotten about them all. There we go. Maybe they need some touching up in areas where the metal's got dented, but they turned out pretty well. And obviously I attempted to do some scenic bases, because that's just a plastic, bit of plastic card on there, and then I've used bits of plastic card on the others. And then on the panel guys, that's green stuff. I did green stuff hex. I've got a little bit of snow on there as well, and then painted on the firing arcs. So I got these guys out, and I got the rules out, and it is M3 that these were for. I know we're now on M5, but I got these out, played a game, got completely confused, looked at more rules, got confused between M4, M3 and N5, some of the changes, but I muddled through and I played a couple of games, and I'm remembering why I liked Infinity and the tactics involved in it. It's a very tactical game. If you've not played it and you like tactical games, this is a good one. So I decided I'm going to get back into Infinity, and Infinity is a hill to climb when you start it. The rules are difficult, but once you get used to them, it gets easier and easier and easier the more games you play. But one of the hills to climb is actually collecting an army in the first place. So with these guys, I went onto the army builder, which is free online, which is great. And I couldn't build an army with all of these. The Nomads weren't too bad, but I wasn't able to take her or her. I think there was another one, can't remember. It might have been that one, it might have not been, can't remember. There was a couple of the Nomads. I definitely couldn't take those because they're in Bakun. So they're now in a sectoral list. And that gets all confusing when you start talking about sectorals, like what you're talking about. And essentially there's subdivisions of an army. So you've got Nomads, subdivisions, Tunguska, Bakunin, and Korigor, I think it is. And then Pano, they've got their own subdivisions as well. So it got very, very confusing very, very quickly. And when I was going through the parts, I got Claire's out as well. She also has the US Adriana ones. And all these models were in great shape. She hasn't painted these ones, obviously. And these were in a box, in bits almost, like they'd fallen apart. And this guy had lost this dagger. And I was like, oh no, I hate losing bits off models. I have no idea what it is. I turned the place upside down, the attic upside down, looking for it. Couldn't find it. Just this dagger. Everything else from Red Veil, Ice Storm, and the Beyond packs, and the US Adriana were all there. And those are pretty much all the models we've got, apart from a few special edition ones that we got with books and stuff. But this was missing, and I'm like, well, that's really annoying. Can I replace it with an Orc one? I nearly did. But then I looked up, and if you don't know, if you've ever lost a part from Infinity, all you have to do is email yourself a little message to Corvus Belli and ask them if they do have them in stock at the moment. I didn't think they'd have these in stock because they weren't actually out at the time, But they said, no problem, all you have to do is place an order with the store, which did mean buying some stuff from them and getting it shipped from Spain. But I was like, I can't have an incomplete model. It really is like, it does my head in. So I'm going to fork out to buy a new model and from them. And I decided to go for a Pano tag because I'd always liked the tag and never got them. So I thought, well, this is my chance. I'll buy a Pano tag that I like, and then I will get this part and I can fix this, and then Claire can paint these up if we do start playing Infinity. Otherwise, I know it's just complete. So that's what I did. I got myself a Jotams because I always liked this tag. And then as I was waiting for this to arrive, I started reading up about it. I'd already placed the order, and I realised that it no longer exists in Pano vanilla. You can't have it. You have to have the Winter Force. And I'm like, oh no, well, I can't have a model that I can't use. And this is the path into Infinity. So before you buy anything, have a good look at the sectorials and what tags and what forces go in what. And if you do have some remaining ones, because for instance the Swiss Guard can't go in the Winter Force. This guy doesn't even exist anymore, but most people use him as a Knight of Justice because he's very similar to the Knight of Justice model, which you may see in this video. It's going to get longer, this video. And from memory, because it was a while, you can't use this one, I don't think. Oh, was it that? No, it wasn't that one. No, can't use this one. Picked up the wrong one there. Can't use this one either. And it went on and on that you can't use certain things and certain things. So the forces with Ice Storm don't really completely work anymore. You have to put them in different sectorials. But the good news is the Fusiliers work in pretty much everything, and are pretty much mandatory, as far as I can tell. We have an Orc there as well, and they can pretty much go in a lot of the stuff. And then Nissen, is it a Nissen? I'm going to butcher the names. I'm always getting back into this, and I can't remember all the names for everything off the top of my head. And I can't remember exactly which one was which either at this point in time. But the reason why we're going to get to what actually happened in my brain. Once I got the Jotun and I'd fixed that, and I started looking at the Winter Force for Pano, I decided to switch to a Winter Force. And then that means these guys pretty much get shelved. But I can use some of them in the Winter Force. And later on I am going to expand out and build some more Pano forces, I think. Because I've really taken to these models again and I realised why I like them in the first place. And yes, so this started to balloon out from just getting this and another model. I haven't built it yet either, so because I was wanting to continue this conversation. What happened next was I started looking at the bases and I'm like, well, I like the hex themes and I like snow, but I can't remember if we've even got that roll that did that anymore. And I certainly don't have the plasticard for that, and the shop that I used to buy plasticard from is now shut down, so that means looking for it online. I'm not entirely sure on that. So then I thought, well, I've got a 3D printer now, I'll start looking for 3D printing bases online, and there's loads you can choose from, plastic or resin, and I was looking through them, and then for some reason madness took over again, and this has been the story of Infinity. It's just a strange kind of madness that's taken me over. I thought, why don't I try and make my own bases? And so for the last week I've been learning how to use FreeCAD and making bases for Infinity, and there is a result that I'm about to show you is these and these, and let me show you them all. So here we go. These are just a selection of the ones that I've made. I've made a bunch of hex bases because I intend to replace the panel ones with these hex bases. I also quite like the look of them. It's like any kind of cyberpunk thing. We've got some ones with little hexes missing and stuff. And I just went a bit nuts and started creating stuff on FreeCAD from them. And then I went over to do the Nomads and went for starship decking. Very much inspired by the box art. You use these little drilled holes things for the decking. That one was pretty easy to do. Then I added on other things as well, just to try and make them look more interesting. The odd vent here and there. Even on to making, oops, knocked them over. Even on to making little gribblies that maybe I can stick on the base, is that little console. So I'm a bit nuts with the, I've never used it before either, so I've sort of like shocked myself that I've actually bothered to actually invest the time to learn how to use a 3D program, and it was well worthwhile. I think I've really enjoyed it, and I'm going to make different bases for each of the factions that we're collecting. And this is where, if you guys are interested in these bases, let me know in the comments, because I might stick them on my mini factory or something like that. I haven't decided yet. But the next stage of my madness was I made these base toppers. I thought, cool, I can stick them on the bases, great stuff. I can peel these bits off and reuse these bases, because I don't have any extra Infinity bases. And only at that point did I open the Jotun box, which I'm going to do now. But I opened it to have a quick look at what's inside. I thought it was very light anyway. But I do know they're using this new sort of plastic stuff for some of the things. And I took the base out, and then I was instantly shocked by these little indentations, because it's been a long time since I picked an Infinity model up, and these ones got firing arcs on the bases, and like as I said, painted little firing arc on there, and that was it, nothing on the sides. And I'm like, oh, and the bases aren't going to match. So I went back to the FreeCAD and I built myself some bases with fire arcs, slightly simpler fire arcs. They only have the pointy bits on, if you can see them on there. I built one for each size that it said that Infinity uses. That's the big 70mm one, and then we've got 25mm one there with lots of fire arcs. And I built these because these fit on to there really well. Because also when I made the toppers, I didn't actually indent them in, so if I use these bases, there's a slight overhang by about 1mm. Not too bad, still pretty cool. But I decided to just go to town, and as well I put magnet things in the bottom, because I intend to not have this happen again where models break. I'm going to get some metal sheets, rubberized metal sheets, stick them into some really useful boxes, because I should have took out shares and really useful the amount that I've got, and then I'm going to magnetise them onto that, and they can basically be held in place that way. So there's the 40mm and the 55mm, and I'm assuming that this is a 55mm base. There we go. So you can see on the bottom they meet because they're exactly the right size. On there they line up like that, on the front they line up like that, and they sort of line up at the back towards the back of this triangle, so your fire arcs there. So I'm going to use my own bases, basically. That's what we're getting into. I also used bigger magnet holes in there because I wanted them to hold them in place. I didn't realise this was going to be just plastic. Probably didn't need that many magnet holes, but I do have a metal tag as well now. Yes, getting ahead of myself. So probably going to need the extra magnet holes for metal to hold it in place. Now that's just pushed in. It does need gluing in. I would definitely glue these into these bases, but they do fit in. That was just a push fit test to make sure it fit in, and it sort of stayed in. But I wouldn't trust it just to stay in, so I will be gluing them in. I did expect that to come out then, to be honest. It's a pretty good fit. It did pretty well. First attempt as well. And those are 8mm magnets by 2mm. So that's what I'll be using for this. And so phase one is to basically rebase my own models using my new bases that I've created. These ones for the Nomads, and these ones for the Pano. And then we're going to move on to building the Jotun. So, first things first is to get rid of the old bases. There we go. I think that's a bit of a Games Workshop Orc, to be honest, that I've used on there. But she should just come off. There we go. Now, I think what I might do, she's got very small feet. It's not a comment on her feet size, but I'll comment on, can I pin this? I would like to pin these guys to the bases, to be quite honest, for added strength. So I'm going to go and investigate whether I can pin this, and then I shall be back to speak to you guys. Sorry for the shaky cam, we got a little bit of a tripod free filming going on, so I just want to show off. I have repainted the bases after pinning Most of them, not all of them. Some of them have got nice big clunky bits like that on the to the bases. So those are the panel bases now painted, and that's what they used to look like. Just as a reminder from the beginning of the video, which was about 8 years ago I made them. So these looking a lot better. And we've got some snow on some of them as well. And I've split these up. So these ones at the back, they can go in a winter force. So that's the 3 Fusiliers, the Nisse and the Orc. I'm probably going to butcher these names, by the way. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of them. At the front we've got the Camu, the Neoterra Bolt Paramedic, the Swiss Guard, and I think that one's the, which one is that? The Calici Commando. So these 4 at the front, the Swiss Guard and the Neoterra Bolt, they can both go in a panel or an Alien Capital Army. So again, they've now been split up into different sections. These guys can only go in an assault force. I can't remember what they're called. I think it's a shock army or something. I can't remember the exact name for it. But this guy at the end here, he's the commander. He can go in a shock army. These 2 can go in Neo Capital Line or Vanilla panel. This guy, they can move at the end. He can go in a Varuna in intermediate, I think it's reaction division or something like that it's called. So those 4 are not usable in the winter force that I'm going to be building, so it's a bit of a shame, especially because the Swiss Guard's awesome when I've been playtesting vanilla panel. But the 2 in the middle, the Bolt and the Swiss Guard, can go in vanilla panel. It's just this guy was stuck in a very specific sectoral, this guy's in a specific sectoral, and then these guys at the back, they can go in vanilla or they can go in winter force. Especially in this, I think he's very specifically winter force. We've got 3 Fusiliers and then we've got the Orc Trooper. Unfortunately, the exclusive one for the box, the Crux Father Knight, I think he was called. Sorry if you can hear Robert in the background. And it's not very nice, no. He has been basically rewritten out. He's just a model now. He can be used as any specific knight from the militant order. I think most people use him as a Knight of Justice. And in the upcoming box I'm going to do in this video for the Winter Force, there is actually a Knight of Justice that looks a lot like him. So in theory, I can proxy him for a Knight of Justice if I want to. So he's sort of on the outskirts. Can't really be used as what he was because he doesn't exist anymore. But he can now be used as a Knight of Justice or a Teutonic Knight or something else. And when I decide what I'm going to use for him, I might paint the symbol on that pad. I've touched them up a little bit because when I was putting them on the bases and putting the pins on, it did scratch them even a bit more, but there we go. So, over on the Nomads side, the Nomads fare a lot better than Pano. But it was all these guys can be used in a vanilla Nomad force. So if you have a look at these, all these can be used in a vanilla Nomad force. And so we have the 3 Agagules, no idea what they're called, the line troops. 1 Genza, 1 Mobile Brigada, 1 Spectre, and the Reverend Healer. The she is the exception. She was the exclusive miniature for the Nomads. She can still be used, she still exists, but she's now an Abicoon force only. I think I mentioned that before. And then we have the, is it Kriza Borak, who's the big guy at the back. And we have the Hellcat, who's the flying one. Where is he? Where's the Hellcat? There's the Hellcat. There's the Hellcat. And then we have the Intruder at the front. So that one's a Genza, Intruder. 3 Aguilas, I don't know. I can't say it. A Spectre, the Borax, Hellcat, and the Mobile Brigade as the. All of them can be used in the vanilla force. So I'm going to build a Nomad vanilla force. It just makes sense, and maybe expand into either Bakunin or Tunguska later on, I think. So now, sorry. Robert's telling off an Enderman. So that's the base as it was. I think these bases look better. Bit of an upgrade. And there we go. So I'm happy with the bases, so now I can move on. And I'm happy with the colour scheme, so now I can move on. And what we're going to do next, we're going to build this Jotun. I may as well build this on camera, but I'll do it when it's a bit quieter. So I'll see you in a moment. So here we are with the parts for the Jotun, plus the extra base and the MacGuffin. This has come in this new plastic. It's a dark, very high detailed, very nice. Feels quite crisp too. We'll find out how that goes. Some pieces have got these where they've also been cut off things. They're going to need filing down. There's a couple of bits of that. A bit on there as well. Okay, so here we are, we're back. We've got the parts of the Jotun. It looks like it's in this new plastic. Hello, Robert. Showing your hand there on screen.
I help it.
You're going to help? Okay, thank you. So we have these...
What is
that's one of his shields, mate. Off his arms. There he is. So this is in a plastic I've not used before. I don't know how it's going to glue.
I want to sit on you. I help.
You want to help? Oh, of course you can help, little man.
Do you want to sit on you?
You want to sit on my knee? Well, okay. Let me just show the camera these bits, because there are some bits on here. There's your hand. There's your hand, everybody. These bits here. Can you see that on the camera? Can you see that on the camera? There's little bits like that are rough, but it looks like it's been cut off a sprue. And there's a few bits here and there, like on there as well. They need filing down. Other than that, there's no flash or anything. That's the body, mate. You've got the body there. One thing I've noticed is this is the gun. And as you can see from there, it's bent out of shape. So I'm going to try and heat that in some hot water. When you're not around, little man, I'm going to do that.
I want to do that.
Oh no, that's going to be hot water. I'm not going to have you put your hands in it. Safety first. And I'm going to try and bend that back in shape. I'll see if it'll just reset itself by putting it in hot water. Sometimes resin will do that. So I think this is a plastic resin, so let's go ahead and try it. Oh, can you see that on the camera? What have you got there? You've got the main body.
No snatch off me.
I am terribly sorry.
No. What's it then?
What's it then? That's the part off the back. And we're going to put this thing together.
He's a bad robot.
He's a bad robot. He might be a bad robot. I think he's a tag.
I want him to be a bad robot.
You want him to be a bad robot? No. Well, we'll see what happens.
He's shooting everybody.
And he's going to shoot everybody. Awesome.
On his hands.
On his hands? He's
Mm.
going to make lightsaber noises. Right. So let's go ahead and straighten these out and get rid of the pieces of flash. And no, you're not going to be using a knife. I'm going to be doing that as well. Okay. And we'll be back in a moment. Or I'll be back in a moment. Hello, and we're back. And here's the finished Jotun. It was very easy to put together. I have pinned it to the base.
Uatu,
apparently.
Uatu.
Koatu. So it's been pinned to the base. Robert is now operating the camera. For some reason we have an invasion of badger trolls over there. So, as you can see, very highly detailed, very easy to go together. Yes, did that as well. These two bits are labelled right and left, and they go right and left. I used super glue to put this together. I did test it quickly with plastic glue and that didn't seem to do anything to it. So we have gone full super glue. This is very light, very big, very easy to put together. We bent that back into shape, didn't we, Robert? We went downstairs and bent that back into shape with hot water, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah, we did. So that worked. Job done. So that's the tag. So the next box I got was the support box. That's metal, and that's going to take a bit more of putting together. So let's get that one out.
Open it.
Okay, so we're back and Robert wants me to open it desperately. This is a sync unboxing.
This one's not got guns.
But I think they've got guns. Yeah, that guy's got a gun. So this is the support pack for Pano. I didn't have a chance to say that before I demanded it. One thing I noticed on this is it does say essentials on it. Now I'm not entirely sure what the essentials are. The Jotun box didn't have this on, but I was to understand the Jotun is an essential. And these come with little cards in with the units in. I don't know why. I don't know if all essentials come with these or not. We've yet to find out. I do have another essentials box to open. But these ones are metal. And we're going to open this now. Okay. So we have a metal. They are metal, yes. So we've got 4 little bases. And then we have 2 little robots. I think they're the PAL bots. To see, well, if you come around this way, mate, you can see. There's the other PAL bot, I think. Then we have a trauma doc, and I think it's a mechanic. She's the trauma doc. If I opened this, it'd probably give me the answer.
We could have gotten this one out.
We will, Robert. Honestly, we will. So, let's get them out.
No. That one is little.
This one is little, yeah. Compared to the Jotun we just did, it's tiny. You're making lightsaber noises.
No.
Yeah.
Robot noise again.
Robot noises. Even better. So this is the mechanic. And he's in 3 parts, by the looks of it. That's his back with a gun. And it's also his back with a gun. So I can see a problem. Can you? Yes. I don't know, is that a packing error? Better keep hold of this.
This is a bad thing.
Yes, it is.
It is bad with a robot. These ones are bad ones.
So I'm assuming check and see what parts we've got, mate, 'cause I think we've got 2 parts that are the same.
Yes.
And let's check we've got all the parts for this one. I think we do have all the parts for that one. Got body, head. There's the head. No. So that's the trauma doc's head. And then I think we've got parts for the. So yeah, it looks like a mesh pack.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, Robert. I swear we've got a bit of a miss pack on this one.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, son.
What, Daddy? What can we?
Tick drop. Right. I think we're going to stop the video there. Oh, Robert needs me for one. What you want to show me? You want to give me a big hug? Okay. And we need to contact support and let them know they've mispacked it. And I got this one straight from Corvus Belli, so I'll have to go back to them. Right, I shall be back when I've got that sorted. Okay, so now it's just us. Robert's away at the moment. I've put these models together, apart from the one that's missing the parts. I've contacted Corvus Belli. They've sent me a message back asking me for my address, so I assume that means they're going to send me the missing part, which will be good. and we can finish building this guy. And when he's done, you should like that, but not painted. These cards are cool, kind of like them. Wish they came with everything, that'd be good. But I imagine they just come in these packets because these are the essentials. That was one of the reasons I bought this. I did a search to have a look to see what would go well with the Jotun, and it said you kind of need a machinist, who's the guy who's missing, and the power bots are useful too, and that's probably why they're in the support pack. And the trauma doc's kind of a useful, apparently. I will find out when I play the game. They went together like metal normally does. A little bit annoying. You may notice I got plaster on my finger. That was from a drilling incident on the trauma dock, ironically. Yes, I went a bit wild with the drill and it went into my finger. So safety tip, always pin these guys down when you're drilling into them. The shield's pretty cool. Yeah, looks pretty cool. And then we have the little power bots. So that was my second purchase, and hopefully we'll get to finish that. And after buying them and the Jotun, that's when I figured out that basically the Jotun can only go in the Winter Force, and while the support pack's good pretty much in any panel force, because you've got someone who can repair tags, you've got someone who can repair people. That's what they're for. So I was happy with that. And then I was like, yeah, I kind of really like this Jotun. Now I've seen it, I was right. This is an awesome model. Because I was then forced with either, because I wanted a tag as a centerpiece for my panel force. So I was either going to have to go and get the cutter as well, and then this would just become a painting project, or switch from vanilla to Winter Force, which is ultimately what I chose to do. And I went on to Chaos Cards, who have got some really good Infinity priced models, to be fair. And I'm actually going to hold myself, zoom out, there we go. I'm just going to hold myself the Winter for Action Pack for Panoshiana. The reason I keep saying Winter Force is because I can't say the word for the force. It's like Savannah Heim or something like that. Savannah Heim or something. Completely can't say it. I'm just going to keep saying Winter Force. But essentially, this is what we get in here. Let's zoom out a little bit. Thank you, manual zoom. There we go. We get all these cool models in here. We get 3 more Fusiliers. We get ourselves the Knight that looks a bit like the Knight of Justice. We get this guy, I think has got a Borg, maybe said that wrong. And we get a lot of models. That's an Infirmer, so I think we get another healer, if you will. So I got probably too many healers in this, but another Orc. So plenty of Fusiliers to get some cheap orders in there. And I'm going to use these guys to build around the Jotun. So this was why I popped to get these for now. And in the future I might get the sort of standard action packs. But these guys come in a box. And inside box, we'll see that in a little bit. Sorry for all the camera movement, but this is kind of a journey. There's no real plan to this video. I'm just making this one up as I go along. It's like I'm unboxing this, then I'm building this. This is just like I was going to unbox whatever and show you them. So just for information, if you're getting into Infinity, you're following this path of not going down there getting Operation Sand Trap, which I'll explain why I didn't get that later. This is what we've got in this box, lots more models. So let me check all these are here, so I don't have to email them again, and then we'll get them out and we'll have a look at them. Okay, so we've built the Winter Force. Have a look at the models. These went together really easily. They didn't, that's a lie, that's an absolute lie. These went together very painfully. I've forgotten how difficult it is to put metal models together sometimes. Here we go. Oh, there's another Fusilier. The other Fusilier. So yes, like I said, I'd forgotten how difficult it was when they're not cooperating. I was using industrial strength glue as well, but the white metal did not want to stick for ages and ages and ages. So if you have activator, I would recommend using activator. If you don't have activator, and I didn't, use this, bicarbonate of soda. An old trick I remembered, and I had some out-of-date bicarbonate of soda, which doesn't matter what the date is on it because you're not eating it. You are just simply sprinkling the smallest amount imaginable on the glue and then gluing it on. And you can also use it to fill any gaps you have, but gaps wise not too bad. Tab that shouldn't be there or didn't fit, 50-50. Did have to cut some of them off and just go for it. I did pin in some places where I was having problems, but eventually, with the help of the bicarbonate, got it all together. And also used this little bad boy, which just came to the post after stabbing myself the other day with the drill. I decided to get a little pin vise, and it works a treat, just off Amazon. This was pretty inexpensive. They don't fall out, that's great. But it works a treat. Held them together while I drilled a piece of the pin that I needed to in place, and then didn't also end up drilling myself again. So, safety first. We've also put all the magnets in the bottom parts of the bases. I'm going to do what I did with the others. I'm going to spray them all black from the bottom, leaving this top bit resin apart from around the edges, and then I'm going to spray these. Probably do them, might do these with a zenithal. Those other ones didn't have zenithal highlights, they were just grey and then painted up normally. I might use a zenithal just to give it a bit more shading. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use black and white straight up, nothing too fancy. I'm going to use some Colour Forge spray paint because I've just got some and I want to test that out, see how that does. So I'll go ahead and spray these, and we'll come back when they're sprayed and we can have a look and see how well the zenithal's taken. Hit and miss when I do it, to be honest. Sometimes I do just put too much over the top and I don't get a proper zenithal, and just go, and just paint it anyway. But sometimes putting a couple of coats of undercoat on isn't a bad thing either. So that's the panel that I have. Next up, I have a couple of boxes here. So I'm going to show you them both at the same time. We have another Essentials box, which is the Salamandra and the Tunguska Interventors. For a long time I thought it said Inventors, but it's Interventors. There we go. So this isn't an Essentials pack, and this is an Essentials pack, so in theory this should have a card in it. Does it? It does! And a big case. Right. And this is 100% metal. So this is 100% getting pinned. I'm not mucking about. This is pretty heavy, especially compared to the Jotun. Boom. Thankfully, the legs are attached. So that's a time saver. And we have the big gun. We have the and the big gun. Does that go on the back? I think it does on the picture. I think that's the gun off the back. And that's the back itself. Then we have ourselves a tail. So that is that. We're going to get all these bits clipped off because there's plenty of these that shouldn't be there. And then I'm going to find a base for it. I'm going to get it put together. I will probably, because of the weight of this, that might stick on with some baking soda. But these arms, I'm thinking of pinning these in place. I'm not convinced that's going to fit very well, to be honest. Does that go on there? Well, it does fit pretty well. There's a lot of play in that though. And it will take a long time to set. So we either trust the baking soda or we pin it. Sort of thinking pin, and use my new pin vise on that, so I can pin the arms. And we might not need to pin that bit on. We might, it's quite small. There we go. How does that attach? That's going to be the back. Oh, it goes on the by the looks of it. Pinned. Let's make it pinned. That should just attach, I hope. There is just one thing for that. It does fit pretty well, that. That should just attach. And that is definitely going to get pinned. That's heavy. Getting model terms. Right. So that's what we're going to do with that. And then we have some bits here. I'm not 100% sure what they are. Have to go off the picture. The parts of the gun. I'll figure it out. Oh no, they're small arms. What are they for? Where do they go? Has he got some little arms as well? I did not even notice that. Oh, it's the dudes inside, isn't it? You can just see them there, I think. Oh, cool. Right, well, we'll figure that out. And then we have the interventors, which I chose because apparently they are classic Nomads models. They're very good at hacking. I might be wrong. I just went through what was on the internet. The internet is sometimes wrong. As I said, when we play, we'll find out. Just like gravity wasn't going to let me fire them on top of each other. So we have ourselves some fast pandas. We have ourselves some weapons and arms. And we have ourselves our interventors. You will probably need pinning. The arms should glue on. And the pandas should glue on. Right, so the next phase is to put these together. And then I've got enough Nomads and enough panel to be painting for now. And testing as well. So this is where my madness has led to so far. So yes, and I don't know when this is going to go out, but ultimately I was reading that a new starter set called Maze Breaker is coming out, which is one of the reasons why I might not bother with Operation Sandtrap. I probably wasn't going to anyway, because the pano in it don't really go with these guys. And I do like the look of the JSA, but I wasn't too sure. Operation Maze Breaker is coming out, and that has Nomads in it, but the Corridor, and it has the Elf as well. Now I do quite like the look of those, I always have. And as a third faction, they might be worth picking up. So I might get that, not decided yet. If I do, that'll be another unboxing in the future, and a video all to itself. But for now, I'm going to continue with the madness that is this video, by just seeing how frustrated or how many times I injure myself putting this bit together. Okay, back in a moment. So back again, we've built this giant metal monster. Pen the bomb, yes. There we go. I'm still not happy with that join there either. That didn't fit together at all. The tab had to be cut off that. This arm did not fit on at all. It was wanting to be all the way over here rather than there. It's a very thick piece of metal to try and bend at the elbow. So instead I cut the tab off and repositioned it that way. Actually looks more like the picture now. Other than that, and pinning all over the place, that's how it went together, slowly, painfully. And there we go. We now have a completed salamandra ready for undercoating. There it is. So yeah, I do like the model a lot. You know, sometimes you put them all together, was it worth it? This one was. I've always liked this model. This is one of the models that says infinity to me, to be fair. Always has. There we go. One point, though, the guy who's driving it, if that's his arms, he must have a really wide leg stance all the time. You definitely get cramp. Cause he's proper doing a Jean-Claude Van Damme there with his legs. There we go. And we've put together our interventors. Much easier to put together, obviously because they're much smaller. With the fast pandas all done. And they're ready to go for undercoating. I also did stick some Claire's US Adriana forces onto some bases I made. Some sort of military-esque style markings on the bases that I put on. So I'm quite happy with how those bases have turned out as well. There we go. I think they'll look quite nice once they're painted up. So, next stage is to literally start painting. So we'll get I'm in the middle of undercoating the panel. We'll get these guys undercoated. Probably not these ones because that's when I'll have to ask Claire if she wants to paint them. And I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've come back. I've done some zenithal highlighting with the spray paints. Turned out okay. We shall take it from there, I think. As far as painting them up. And there is the salamander. Sorry, my friend, knocked you over. So got a couple of tags to paint. Got a bunch of panel stuff to paint. I've got a few bits of nomads to paint, obviously, and then the next thing I think we'll be getting for Infinity is probably the Maze Breaker starter set. I've had a look. I'm thinking of pre-ordering it. Probably will have done by the time I've aired this video. But here we go. For the end of this video, I'm just going to go recap getting back into Infinity. What have I learned from being around roughly in M3 era is that any models you may have, first things first, dig them out, see what they are, if you can remember. I couldn't. See what they are, go onto the army builder and make sure they are still valid to be in the same army. Check your sectorals if you can't find them, see if they've been moved into one of those. Have a look at the other models that are in those sectorals, see if you prefer one of those as opposed to just like vanilla nomads, a vanilla panel. It's the first thing I really should have done. And then I've decided, because I've pretty much decided on Svalaheimer's Winter Force now. So that's what we've got here. Move the camera across a little bit. That's what we've got here, and you can go into the army builder and you can build any army and you can print off these sheets, which they're now stood on. This is basically the Winter Force box with nothing added. That comes to 242 points of a 300 point army, which is almost everything in one box, to be honest. That's pretty good. We have ourselves our 3 Fusiliers, a Knight of Justice. That's with a multi-marksman rifle. We have the Nock there with the multi-spectral visor. That's with the Borden shotgun. Again, it doesn't matter what weapons they actually have. You can say they have anything you like. I've tried to stick it with the weapons that they've got, but again, it's hard to tell because I'm not an expert on what weapons are what. So I've kind of had to guess. So we have here a Spitfire. I think that's a Spitfire with the Varg. And the Locust has a multi-marksman's rifle. I think that might be it. That could be anything. Definitely a missile launcher, I hope. And then we've got the Inferma there, the Bog with the missile launcher. We've got the Orc in the winter gear with the multi-rifle. And then the 3 Fusiliers all have combi rifles. That's what I'm going with to test out this force. And later on, probably add in the Jotun. To do that, I'll have to take out something, probably the missile launcher. I'm probably going to want the machinist with one of these little power bots to go in to the standard 300 force I'm going to use for Svalaheimer. If I don't put in the Jotun straight away, I can use the Nisse, which is part of that force anyway, and the Fusiliers and the other Orc from Operation Ice Storm. So that's my plan, to relearn how to play the game. That and get Maze Breaker, because I kind of like the forces in there. I've decided to have Elf as my third, Elf, So there's my third force. And to expand the nomads in probably every direction, because I like every sub-faction in some way. We'll go with Corrigo first. But for training purposes, I think back this way a little bit, we've gone with mainly the forces that were in Operation Ice Storm, which is great. So we've got the Grenzer, the Intruder from Beyond, we've got the Hellcat and the Borak from Beyond. We've got ourselves our 3 Argugasils, stood on any sailors, and the Mobile Brigada, and then the 2 sorry, brain's gone blank. I keep wanting to call them inventors, but interveners with fast pandas for just for hacking fun from the nomad side. So to train, that's a 251.4, slightly more than that. I don't really care about them being fair. I just want to get used to the different rules, and I thought this is probably about the best way to do it. And then eventually moving the Salamandra in there. And then tag v tag battles. There we go. So what else have I learned? That metal models are still really annoying. I wish they would do everything in this, especially tags. That was a 3-minute job to stick together. Not even joking. 3 minutes to stick that together. Not even joking. I'm going to say 3 hours, just because I think it was even more than 3 hours. 3 minutes, 3 hours. I'm waiting for that to dry, drilling holes in it, filling gaps. That was a little bit of filing on the edges of stuff and stick together and you're done straight away. I wish they'd just make everything out of that. That'd be so much easier. I'm liking the bases that I've made. My learning from that is I can build stuff in CAD that I quite like. I'll probably just keep it for myself unless there's a ton of interest, just because I've looked upon sites and you've got to pay like monthly fees just to sell stuff, and I'm like, nah, I don't really fancy that. I knew that anyway, but I didn't know how much they were. So as far as my learning curve, quite a big one, and quite a big one still to go, because now I'm going to have to get together and play the game. Obviously I'm going to paint the models as well. I do like playing with painting models, so that's my next stage, paint these while playing some games and learning from these 2 forces. Then when Magebreaker comes along, I will do a video, an unboxing for that, and we'll do maybe the missions in that with those models. But if you do want to see anything more Infinity from me, put it in the comments, put in what you want to see. I've still got to make new bases for Claire's factions other than the US Adriana ones, which I think I showed before. If not, that's kind of what they look like. I think I left that separate because Claire wants to paint that separate, but there we go. Yeah, I think it turned out alright. Again, I'm a complete novice with 3D designing, building, so I'm quite happy with how they've turned out so far. And that's it for this one. It's been a very bit of a chaotic video. It's done over a couple of weeks, and yes, the purpose is really just to see things that I'd learned when I'm getting back into Infinity. So ultimately, check what you've got against the army builder is the first thing. Check the new sectorals out. Download the version 5 of the rules. If you do use any sort of AI that I do, make sure it's using the version 5 of the rules and question it. If it doesn't sound right, just keep questioning Copilot or ChatGPT or whatever you're using. Just keep questioning it, because they do like to make stuff up. And I find that is still a pretty good way to get back into the rules. Obviously, read through the rule book. It's free and it's online. Get that and just play a few games. Get back, play layer by layer. I still have to figure out fire teams. That's a future thing. That's where we group together same sort of models, like 5 Fusiliers, and they all get an extra bonus. I think they all use the same order token as well. But I'm not going to get into fire teams until I've played a few games and got back into the basic rules, seeing how these guys cope with each other as well, and from that I'll also figure out what I want to buy next into these forces. I think this is kind of a standing force for a sectoral, probably Korriagor or Tunguska. I do want a Bakunin Force as well, but I think that's a separate future thing. As far as panel goes, I'm pretty happy with my choice. They seem like a pretty straightforward. Panel's pretty straightforward anyway. These seem like the most straightforward of straightforward. It's like gunning and a little bit of close assault. Sounds good to me. If I was going to expand anywhere from this, it would probably be into a different sectoral and into maybe the Knights one, the full-on Knights, because they look cool. Other than that, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see any more Infinity. So the next one will be definitely the unboxing of the new starter set, and we can have a look maybe together at whether it's a good starter intro, because one of the reasons I didn't go and get Operation Sand Trap was because I was seeing a few videos and they said it wasn't really a good starter. I can't comment because I don't own it, but I just went off those and decided, well, I've got some anyway. I didn't realise how much more extra stuff I would need to make things playable, or my own sort of like, well, if I can't have vanilla Pano and I wanted a Jotun, then I may as well just start off on this Winter Force and basically start from scratch on that side. So yeah, find the models you like the look of and you want to play and build the army around them. That's my first piece of advice, because you're going to have to paint them. You don't have to, but you're going to want to paint them. So find models you want to paint and build an army around that, and then fine tune it from there. I think I use that sort of theory in every game that I play. Find what I like the look of and take it from there. And then get a bit more sort of pinned down to fire teams and what's really good together. Which we can do some more videos on in the future if anyone's interested. Put it in the comments. But for now, thank you. Please like and subscribe. And we shall see you again soon. Bye for now.